Welcome back, and thank you all for participating in this Netrunner exam. Once again, all of you have far exceeded my expectations. This was a very difficult quiz, but a lot of you gave a lot of good answers. And unlike last time, there's even someone who managed to get all the answers correct. Must be a cheater. But anyway, let's get down to explaining the answers of the quiz. If you haven't done my Netrunner quiz yet, be sure to do so before getting spoiled by this video. Let's go! Questions 1 and 2 ask for recurring credits on the Common Runner side. That's none other than Pheromones and Net Police. Net Police is particularly challenging because almost no one plays it, and it was printed very long ago. I was so sure that very few people would get it correct, because even when Sunny was a thing, no one bothered playing Net Police because it's so bad. But a lot of you seem to remember it. I think I wouldn't have if I were to take my own quiz. Question 3 asks for the card fragment with 4 trash costs, 1 influence, and that quote. It's a lot of redundant information, but it's not a card that sees a lot of play either. That's Brain Taping Warehouse. Question 4, almost I think everyone got it correct. Even though this card doesn't see any play either, the card art is just too unique for people to forget. It's none other than Big Brother. Question 5 is a related question to Chaos Theory, asking for any of the cards containing her quotes. Turns out there are 4 Shaper cards and 2 NBN cards. That's right, 2 cards on the co-op side, both NBN, have Chaos Theory quotes. That's Resist and Pop-Up Window. But most of you went for Power Nap and Snowball, which are very legitimate options too. Good thing you all have been reading the card quote flavor text, huh? Personally, I really love Chaos Theory's quotes. She has a very innocent and optimistic vibe to whatever she says, and it's always a pleasure to read it. Hopefully we'll continue to see more of her even as she rotates out come the next rotation. Question 6 to 9 asks for the missing card of the series. Question 6 refers to the 4 subroutine Ice. Those of you who did the quiz earlier might not have seen my annotation that Enforcer 1.0 was meant to be part of the group, but that's fine if you put Enforcer as your answer. What I was looking for was Buck Breaker, which has 4 subroutines and is often forgotten. Question 7 is obviously 3 1 HP agendas. It seems to be complete, but no, there's one agenda that sees virtually no play, it's Research Grant. Question 8 asks for Anarch consoles. Again, this seems like a complete list until you realize that there's one console that is missing from the list, Echo Mine. It is also possible to interpret this list as a list of Anarch hardware with the memory symbol, because Echo Mine does not have the memory symbol unlike almost all the other consoles in the game. As such, while mem strips was not the intended answer, it definitely qualifies as a correct answer. Question 9 asks for CD locations, and yes, the answer is Scrubber. A lot of people don't pay attention to the subtypes, myself included. I would never have guessed it. This certainly could be relevant as we head into the next data pack, Business First, where there's a card that is playable only if you have a CD installed. Although, to be fair, most people will just trigger it using the 2 most commonly played CD cards by far, Spirit Peddler and Wildside. Question 10 is a situation question asking for the most number of cards you need to break this server with Faust and David. A lot of you gave very good answers, coming within 1 card of my model solution. 7 cards to break, there are a couple of good answers such as Tsurugi into Spiderweb and Ashigaru into Cortex Lock. The most efficient, however, has to be 8 cards with this particular combination, Ashigaru and Galahad, with 2 Grill Ice. This means that you have 4 subroutines plus 3 subroutines plus 1 card to pump to 4 strength for the Ashigaru. That's the reason why I included the entire board state of the corp, because you need to know how many cards the corp is holding in hand. In this case, that's 4, which makes Ashigaru one of the best ice to tax Faust out with. This is something pretty relevant if you're looking to make an anti-Faust deck. Bear in mind though that Parasite just chews all these eyes alive. Then there was a side question of the most number of cards to break this server with upgrades taken into consideration. As many of you rightfully pointed out, again, an unintentional mistake I made, Mumbat City Grid is not possible in this setup because there is a Breaker Bay grid in the same server, which means Mumbat City Grid in there would be an illegal board state. This implies that the Twins and Corporate Troubleshooter are the only two upgrades that we should consider when trying to force more cards from Pulse. And with Twins forcing up to 6 ice encounters, 3 for each ice installed, we can now think about taxing David. In the original question, we couldn't consider playing 5 strength or more ice, because that would simply be broken for free by David, and we are trying to tax out Faust cards. But now, with only 1 David installed, we can think of boosting the strength of the ice to make Faust pay a lot of cards, and this is done with Little Engine and Galahad. This costs a total of 7 credits to Reds, leaving 4 credits for the Corp to use Troubleshooter on Galahad, making Galahad a 5 strength ice with 3, 5 and 7 subroutines when encountered in succession with the Twins. Little Engine will tax 5 cards for each encounter, and the runner can only use 3 David counters. This works out to be a minimum of 31 cards. Yes, 31 for the runner to get through the server. And finally, some of you have mentioned Brainstorm as a possible card. I didn't consider that because it hasn't been printed or released yet, but yes, it was banned for the same reason I banned Komainu. Because we don't know what the runner's hand size is, they can potentially spend an infinite number of cards trying to get through the server. Final question. How much does it cost to break through R&D once? Ensuring that all subroutines are broken? The answer turned out to be far more straightforward than some of you anticipated. It simply is all about installing the most efficient Fractor and one-time Sentry Breaker, which in this case is Lady and Fairy. Therefore you get through the server for 6 credits. Far more interesting is the bonus question, which allows you to use IDs and events. World Serpent NR came up with a very good solution of Quetzal plus Inside Job, making it a one-click wonder, you can say, all only costing 1 credit. But FaceCheck managed to best that with a 0 credit solution by playing Ken Tenma using Immolation Script to trash an Eli from archives, assuming there is an Eli there. Then installing a Fairy and running will allow you to actually do this from 0 credits, which is pretty amazing. Of course, that is very conditional. It hinges on having an Eli in archives, which the Corp may or may not have. Well, that's all for the quiz. Once again, thank you everyone for participating, and all of you have passed with flying colours. Till next time, happy night running. Goodbye.